So, what if I told you that you could actually rewire your brain to make studying feel just as compelling as, say, scrolling through social media? I know, it sounds pretty much impossible, but today we're going to dive into a method that doesn't rely on willpower. Instead, it works with your brain's own chemistry. All right, so let's just start with the biggest question right off the bat. Can your brain genuinely learn to crave a difficult task like studying? Well, the answer, believe it or not, is yes. See, it's not about the task itself. It's all about the chemical signals you're sending to your brain. And here's the fundamental piece of the puzzle. Your brain doesn't actually know the difference between work and fun. It only speaks one language, and that language is dopamine. Social media gives you this huge, easy spike of it, while studying, well, it provides a much smaller one. So naturally, your brain tells you to go for the big, easy reward every single time. So, this brings us right to the heart of the issue, what we're calling the dopamine problem. And the most important thing to get here is that this is not a personal failing. It's not about you. It's about understanding the biological system you're working with. Let's just get one thing straight right now. You are not lazy. Your brain is an efficiency machine, okay? It's been hardwired over thousands of years to seek the highest possible reward for the least amount of effort. So when you reach for your phone instead of a textbook, your brain is just doing its job perfectly. The goal isn't to fight that instinct, it's to redirect it. And here's the key we're gonna use to do that. We often think of dopamine as the pleasure chemical, but that's kind of a misunderstanding. It's actually the chemical of anticipation. It gets released when your brain predicts a reward is coming. And that prediction, that's exactly what we can learn to manipulate.
So how do we actually pull off this hack? Well, we're gonna use a technique called the Dopamine Loading Method.
This method, it's broken down into 3 really simple sequential phases. First, deprivation, then priming, and finally, amplification. Each one plays a really specific role in retraining your brain's entire reward system. All right, so now let's break down exactly what each of these 3 phases looks like in practice. Let's get into the nitty-gritty. First up is deprivation, and this is all about intentionally creating a dopamine deficit. So for 30 minutes before you even think about studying, you go on a stimulation fast. That means no phone, no music, no distractions, nothing. It's gonna feel uncomfortable, maybe even super boring, and that is the entire point. You're making your brain so starved for stimulation that the simple act of studying will start to feel like a reward by comparison. Okay, next is priming. So just before you open your book, you're gonna spend just 2 minutes visualizing a successful study session. I want you to picture yourself really grasping a difficult concept, solving a tough problem, feeling that rush of accomplishment. This actually triggers that anticipatory release of dopamine we talked about, basically rewarding you before you even begin the hard work. And finally, we have amplification. While you're studying, you're going to manually reinforce this new behavior. So every 25 minutes, you take a short break. Now the key here, and this is super important, is that it has to be a low dopamine break. I'm talking stretching, walking around, getting a glass of water, not scrolling your phone. This teaches your brain that the study session itself is what leads to these small, pleasant rewards.
So we've got the theory down. Now let's build this whole thing into a practical daily routine that you can start using, well, pretty much immediately.
Here's what a day could look like. It starts the second you wake up by not touching your phone. You have to keep your dopamine baseline low. Then you do your 30-minute deprivation phase. Your study blocks follow the pattern we just discussed, and even lunch is done mindfully, without screens. Then, and only then, in the evening, you enjoy your high dopamine activities as an earned reward, but you do it with a time limit to make sure you stay in control. Now, let's just zero in on a few small but absolutely critical habits. That 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off split, that's the classic Pomodoro technique. Protecting your morning from a phone-induced dopamine flood is honestly non-negotiable. And celebrating those small wins, even if it feels silly to literally pump your fist, sends a powerful signal to your brain that says, hey, this is winning. Look, I know this all might sound a little intense, which is why we're gonna frame it not as some permanent, drastic life change, but as a short, powerful experiment, the 5-day challenge. This is really the secret to making it all stick. And let's be completely honest about this. The first few days, they're gonna be tough. As the source material puts it, the first 3 days will be hell. Your brain is a creature of habit, and it's gonna scream for its old easy fix. I want you to expect that resistance. Knowing it's coming is half the battle. You can actually see the transformation that happens over the course of the challenge. On day 1, the perceived difficulty is just maxed out, right? And the satisfaction you get is super low. But as you stick with it, just notice the shift. By day 5, the difficulty is plummeted, and the satisfaction you get from the act of studying itself has dramatically increased.
Sometime around day 4 or 5, a switch just flips. Your brain's dopamine baseline actually resets. It's no longer expecting those massive, easy hits of dopamine all the time. And then, suddenly, that small rush you get from finally understanding a difficult concept, it starts to feel intensely rewarding. It feels like leveling up in a game.
So that's the challenge. Don't even think about forever. Just focus on this one number, 5. 5 days of consciously managing your dopamine. That's short enough to be totally manageable, but it's also long enough for you to actually feel the chemical shift happening inside your own brain. Ultimately, this is about way more than just studying. It's about taking back control of your own attention in a world that is designed to hijack it. Learning to direct your dopamine is really learning to direct your life towards difficult, meaningful goals instead of just easy distractions. The system is already there, inside you. So the only question left is, will you be the one to reprogram it?